Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builders Supply. In this video is to bring you a quick look at the Kwikset number 720CA. So the 720CA is nothing other than a passage set. And we're going to, the other purpose is to kind of look at the contents, dissect this box a little bit. So 720 is their 700 series passage. Let's just do it now. The 20 is the passage. The CA is the Circa knob. 15A is antique nickel. 6AL means it's a 6-way adjustable latch. So the latch bolt can be set up and configured 6 different ways right out of the box. And we'll show you that. It's going to come with a round corner strike. KI and BP PKG, that's got to have something to do with the packaging of the material, maybe a box pack. That I don't know what that means, KI. Some sort of, code in terms of how it's packaged, I would imagine, internally. So that's what a Circa knob looks like in an antique nickel. Nice, large knob, okay? This is not your grandfather's Kwikset lock. These knobs are nice and large. It's like the size of a Schlage F-Series keyed lock, so nice and nice large size. A good, definitely a nice antique nickel finish. A little, maybe a tad darker than what I'm used to, but nonetheless, a very clean finish. There are no marks, no scuffs, no bubbles in the lacquer, no scratches. It looks like they have a very good command over the finishing process. Maybe a small amount of texture to it that you can actually feel in the pads of your fingertips, but otherwise, very nice and clean. This is what's called a tubular style lock. Goes through a tubular style lock has a special type of latch bolt where the portion that is between the operating trim and retracting the latch goes through the latch, and that would be a tubular style lock. Kwikset has been innovating locks for many, many decades and continue to make it easier, make it more universal, right out of the box, make it easier to use, to understand, to install. And that's a hallmark of Kwikset. Some people obviously would disparage Kwikset, maybe the locksmith community. Some would disparage Kwikset for being low-end residential. Yeah, it's residential. They're not going to sell you a grade 1 lock for use on a college campus. But that's not what it's intended for. Kwikset does a really good job in the sense of their quality is good, their value is very good, the utility you get out of it is very good. A fun fact, I've been told that Kwikset ships 1 million locks a day. That takes some know-how to be able to do that. They have their smart key technology, and they have another technology where you have a duplex cylinder arrangement where you can switch the faceplate over if you're a landlord and get to the landlord cylinder and lock that deadbolt down. I've called them for technical support. These are people that approach locks with a locksmith mindset. So it's not just low-end residential locks. That's what you might call them, but there's a big part of the market for Kwikset locks. And I prefer to appreciate the things that they do very well rather than saying, oh, that's just a low-end residential lock. Well, what would you put on your house? $400 grade 1, sergeant locks? The point is that's not the best practice or the appropriate hardware for the application. It's more like, what is the right tool for the project? You don't change spark plugs with a toothbrush. It can be done, but it's the wrong tool. Putting Kwikset on a Big Ten university is not correct, nor would be putting those locks on your home to be correct, or something that's moderate use. Their material has been around forever. They have other good things about their system. It's a 6-depth single-step system. You can actually do pretty capable master keying size projects with their material. But as I said earlier, I've called them for technical support, and they've always impressed me with their grasp and knowledge of some of the finer points of locksmithing that no one would ever really think of. And their smart key technology is pretty brilliant in the sense of being able to, in the field, rekey your lock with no special knowledge and only one thing that's kind of a special tool. You don't need any service calls to the locksmith. One might argue that platform is inherently not very safe. You know, I don't really think that you're going to have a problem with someone picking your lock to get in, although it certainly happens if there is going to be a break-in. I don't know that standing there trying to manipulate the lock through a variety of means is how that would occur. But it takes a lot of intelligence to be able to concoct that smart key technology. I've taken the cylinder apart down to its constituent pieces, and I understand how it works. And it's as if you're looking at, you know, a high-security cylinder in some of its concepts from any of a number of dozens of manufacturers, both North American and European or, you know, Australian or Asian design. Just really brilliant. The ability to do that, you know, these people know their business, and they know it well. So that's a Circa. There's lots of different knobs and levers available, all of the finishes. I won't really get into it because you can get to their catalog. The 6AL, you've got a latch bolt. That latch bolt can go from 2 3/8, which it's set on now, or 2 3/4. Okay, and we can manipulate that back. All I did was I pinched this thing here that's moving. I just rotate the back of that in and out. So that's two different ways. Now, you can do a drive-in latch. So now that's 4 different ways, right? You can do a well, it's actually an 8AL is what it is. I mean, here's the bottom line. You've got 3 faceplate options. Well, forgive me. It's a 6AL. You've got 3 faceplate options. Square corner, radius corner, drive-in. That's a 1/4 inch radius. And then you've got 2 3/8 or 2 3/4. So 3 times 2 is 6. I was incorrect when I was thinking 8 for some reason. The RCL on the box is a radius corner strike, 1/4 inch radius, 2 1/4, typical full lip strike. If you use your imagination, you can see why we call that a D strike. The proper term would be a full lip strike. Okay, it's going to include a backer plate that you'll need for either your square corner or your radius corner faceplate. You'll have a mounting plate as well. So what's nice about these Kwikset locks is the screws are already installed. You'll put that mounting plate on one side of the door and you'll bring it in and you'll put those screws there and then you'll rotate it. You'll just rotate it and then tighten. Well, the latch bolt has to go in first. The latch bolt goes in the first. This would be the exterior side. Your plate, the 2 pieces would lock together. You would tighten your screws, and at that point, all we're doing now is apparently pressure fit. I've never done this before. We're going to look at the installation instructions in just a moment. Apparently all you're doing is pressure fitting that on. I don't want to push that down too far because I don't want to be unsure of how to take it apart until we look at the installation instructions. But I guarantee you, Kwikset has concocted some way to make this a super easy installation. I bet that's just popping it on. Taking it off might be a different issue, but we're gonna get to that when we get to the installation instructions. I'm gonna move these parts out of the way. Does include screws. You should really only need 4 screws. You've got 2 long ones and 2 short ones. The 2 long ones would be for the frame. The 2 short ones would be for the latch. Why longer ones for the frame? Imagine in your mind's eye where you've prepped the frame for the strike. You're going to want to pre-drill those holes with like a aircraft length jobber's drill bit so that you can get not only through the frame but into the stud behind. So that's why they're giving you longer screws. Be sure to pre-drill those. You don't want to strip that screw, destroy it. Pre-drill it nice. If you took the screw, the root diameter of the screw, maybe go about 85% of that for the size of the hole that you drill, and you should be as right as rain. Let's switch to the installation instructions on the screen view and take a closer look exactly what that snap together inside trim is all about. Okay, so here's the item that we are looking at. It's a 720CA Circa knob and a passage. This is a US 5 or 609, US 5 finish is what I would call it. 5 antique brass is what they're showing here. We're doing obviously an antique nickel finish. Some specifications here for you to review. Okay. Not sure why that is there. Yeah, that doesn't, okay. That link will be to the proper installation instructions, which are here. And these are included in with the hardware. Okay, so I already moved ahead and looked at how they put that trim on. It's a snap connector. We'll take a closer look at that. So we're going to scan the installation instructions to see if there's anything really to be concerned with. First and foremost, obviously prepping the door will have to be done. There is a template that is included, 2 3/8 or 2 3/4. It is a 2 1/8 inch diameter hole. And that template, when you fold it over the edge of the door, will allow you to mark your center line. Technically, not technically, backset is absolutely determined by measuring from the edge of the door to the center of the hole. And what I've drawn here are 4 different edge types: square, beveled, rabbited, radiused. If I measured from the edge of the door to the center of my hole here or here, I'm going to get the same dimension. But if I try that trick here and then here, I'm going to get a different dimension. My holes are not going to line up. It's not really going to matter so much on a Kwikset lock because they're made to be very agreeable to most installations. But just be mindful when you're measuring backset that it's from the edge of the door to the center of the hole, but the edge of the door is defined from the center of the thickness. So it's not concerned about what you've done to the edge of the door because it's from the center of the thickness of the door. So be mindful when you're measuring, you're actually needing to measure from the center of the thickness of the door, which means the term backset is independent of the door thickness. So a 2 3/4 backset on a 4-inch thick door is the same as on an 1 3/8 door. It's measured from the center. The definition of backset, the definition of bevel from that point to that point is 1/8 in 2. So for every 2 inches in door thickness, that bevel is 1/8 of an inch, also known as 3 degree. That might certainly be considered useless knowledge when it comes to this lock, but if you're doing a door viewer on the same door that you're doing a Kwikset lock, you're going to definitely want to know, because a door viewer isn't so gracious with its compatibility to work with holes that aren't exactly where they need to be. Anyway, step 1 shows how to adjust that latch, which we quickly demonstrated on camera. And these installation instructions, they are only 1/3 of the size of what you're looking at. It appears as if these are in 3 total languages. So there's a lot less here to deal with than we think there is. So you adjust your latch, you determine what faceplate you're using. You're always going to use this backer plate when you have the square edge or the radiused corner plate, and you're going to snap those 2 pieces together. That little dimpled area will fit inside of here, and you just snap them together between your thumb and forefinger. If you're doing that drive-in latch, you can see there's a little bit of a trick to getting that on. And indeed, what I look at, and that's why I didn't push it all the way on and down, I did not want to permanently fix the item onto the latch because I didn't want to have to take it apart, but it does easily go together that way. So pretty simple and straightforward. These are 2 1/4, 1 inch wide. That's probably going to be a 1 inch diameter hole. See what the template calls out. Yeah, 1 inch diameter hole right in the edge of the door. Okay, so that's pretty typical and common. Step 2, get that latch bolt installed with cylindrical locks or tubular locks or auxiliary deadbolts. That latch bolt goes in first because your lock will go through it or connect to it. Step 3, bring that outside part first, and there's only one way to put it together the right way. That spindle needs to go through the latch. There's a large curved feature to it. Again, it can only go in one way, and you will find it easier if you slightly depress the latch first and then put that chassis from the exterior in. Now, what's nice about this design is there are no exposed screw holes. It's awfully nice. On the inside, you don't see any screw holes at all. And as I had demonstrated earlier, you then bring your inside mounting plate rotate that, and then tighten your screws. That's going to bring us to step 4, which was the part that was new to me. Okay. So as you bring as you bring that lock together, it can only go in one way. And what they're drawing our attention to here is we need to rotate. There's a plate on the inside of the knob that needs to rotate so that you align these two arrows. So keep that in the back of your head. Then when we get to step 5, you're going to rotate the knob to the left to secure. Okay? Then in step 6, if you need to remove that trim, they show you how to do that as well. So if you leave the installation instructions up, I'm going to switch this back to the camera view and demonstrate that for you. So again, in my opinion, another ingenious way by which to make putting together locks easy. And that's just what Kwikset does. So what we have here is we've got this plate, and it rotates, as you can see. The installation instructions in step 4, I think it was 4, tell you to align the arrows. Okay. So there's an arrow right at the tip of my finger, right there. There's another arrow on the plate right there. So you rotate the plate to align the arrows. Those arrows are now aligned. Now you're good. Then these two posts, they can only go in one way, into these two slots that are here. They're going to have to go in this way, so they can only go in one way. Then the installation instructions now say rotate the knob to the left to secure. Now as I do that, you can probably watch right here, that item should move. It does. And now it's secured. That plate is now connected. You're done. No exposed holes. Simple and straightforward. If you need to remove that, you're going to work a small flat-bladed instrument underneath here, and you're going to pull that rose back. And I can do it just with my hand to the point where I can get to that arrow-shaped portion and then rotate it back the opposite way. And at that point, when I get it rotated back far enough, it will come loose. So it's just moving that in the opposite direction. Coaxing that rose off a little bit, sliding something in there and moving that plate, that item the only way it will turn, that's how you get it off. So ingenious. I didn't know that until making this video. So let's go back to the screen view and finish up the installation instructions. Okay, so at this point, we've gone through step 4, step 5, and I've showed you step 6, how to remove that. And then at this point, the only thing that's left on the installation instructions are simply to prep the door. We won't go over the step-by-step on how to drill a hole through a door, but you're going to mark the location, proper backset, 2 1/8, drill that through the door, except that you'll drill it halfway through each side. Then do your 1-inch hole in the edge of the door down to your crossbore. Make your latch preparation. Well, they want you to drill the frame for the strike. That makes sense since you've got that 1-inch bit already in your drill. Mark it. Then go to step 5 and mortise the edge of the door and the frame in order to get all that work prepped. To show you just how to go about chiseling it. Obviously, a router would be my preferred way to go. They do make templates for doing all of this. We can certainly assist you with that work. There is also lock installation kits as well, and since we're actually talking about lock installation kits, Kwikset has a lock installation kit called the 138. And the 138 installation kit is a tool owned by countless people, and it will allow you to very conveniently not only drill the holes in the edge of the door and through the door, but mark your strike and your latch as well. There's a backset finder tool here. Your 2 1/8 is here. They can do an 1.5-inch hole as well, and then your 1-inch bit is here. There are, at the time of this video, there are 9 in stock. It is now May of 2020. It is a discontinued item. And we'll see how many are sold between making this video and you seeing this video. Unfortunately, it is gone when it's gone. There are other lock installation kits, assuming this will be gone at that point. Who currently makes one? Well, I know that, let's take a look. There's a company called Bighorn that has a lock installation kit. I have reviewed this. It's not bad at all. Some people like... it's not bad at all, and actually it does remind me of the Kwikset kit. Okay, there is lots of images here showing it. So that Bighorn item, and they give you some templates for the edge as well. It's not as the same high quality, but our options are limited. There's also another manufacturer by the name of ProLock. I don't know if I have it here quickly. I do. It's called the INJIGC. Well, actually, that's a mortise lock installation kit. Let's see if we can find the ProLock. I do have it in here. I just don't recall the part number. Installation. Here it is. Yeah, the INJIG-KJ. Yep, here it is, and I have a video of that one as well. That's still manufactured. Best used to manufacture a different one. They now, if you order the Best version, they will ship you a ProLock. There's another company called Classic Engineering that has quite recently, about in early 2019, they discontinued operations, but I think we still have one in stock. Yeah, we do. This is going to go, this will allow you to do 2 3/8, 2 3/4, and 5-inch. I have a couple of them in stock. That's a much higher quality kit than all of those, that's to be sure. And then for fun, at this point, I have a Kwikset 138, the model that you would have seen if you were trying to buy it in about 1990. This is the old red kit that's here. This is not the actual kit that we have on the shelf, but it shows you what it looks like. Okay, very interesting. So that covers some lock installation tools there for you. So let's wrap up this video on camera. In conclusion, I'm partial to Kwikset, and I'll tell you, it's really not that I use that much of their product, even though I've sold bushel loads of it in the past. I am most enamored with their ability to talk intelligently about the fundamentals of lock making and how their locks work. You can, and I have spoken to people that are very intelligent over there that understand how their locks work. And, you know, if you're just looking to put a passage set on your doors, you don't really care about how that smart key technology works. However, if you are someone like me who has a need to understand how it works, then you really do appreciate the hard work that the manufacturer does to put you in a position of being able to comfortably understand their product line. It's a good quality material over there. There's a link below this video to the manufacturer's page where you can pull up not only all of the Kwikset products that we sell, but also a link to the manufacturer's website, as well as a link to the full product catalog. We don't do a bunch of Kwikset because primarily we're more in the commercial arena, but when it comes to residential locks, I would very much encourage you to review Kwikset. Lots of choices in that arena. Why not do it with somebody who really invests substantially into the continuing improvement of their product line? And they have a tool that's called a pickle fork. That's the technical term, a pickle fork. If you called them and said you need a pickle fork, they'll know what you need. So I like their tongue-in-cheek way of going about naming some of their tools as well. Any questions on the 720 passage set or any other Kwikset product, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you.